It's one of the most challenging elections we are having, and also defining in the sense that the youth are a lot more involved in the elections. And so that has created several other points for looking at the elections. Formerly, it would have been maybe two main candidates and the divisions will be very clear. Now there is a third force and is driven by the youth. That's on one side. Then we're also going through an economic situation that wasn't envisaged and that should not really have happened at this time. You know, the currency change. The last time we went through anything close to this was 1984.
But how biting is this currency change?
No,
it's at least 16 presidential candidates so far say they will reverse it were they to win the elections.
Yes, they will reverse it, but the damage would have been done. The damage being done currently, people are not doing the things they should do. They don't get to places they want to. There are bills they want to pay, they can't pay them. And this is different from people not having money. They have money stuck in the banks and they can't get them out. You know, so if someone wins the election and is trying to reverse it, he can't do that before May 29.
So, major proponents of this new policy say, although it was a good policy, timing was right, was not right, implementation was poor, and that it appears that it was designed from the APC own internal wrangling, saying that it appears the implementation was designed to help the opposition in the election. What is your take?
It's a bit funny that the major opposition to the policy is the APC itself. And that shows you that there are times when you have people in a party acting differently from the party. You would have expected it to be a party decision and it's taken. What is going on now is that several candidates are trying to pull themselves away from anything that could encumber them in this election. So if people are suffering and you see a chance of saying, I'm not part of your suffering, you could say that and hope it will give you some chance in the election. I think that's what is going on with the APC. Otherwise, it's an internal problem the APC created and it should solve it. It should find a way to solve it.
Initially, they said they were for voter apathy. But the youth, young ones, appear to be very energized in this election. Do you think they will play a key role in who becomes the next president, especially when they have not been too participatory in previous elections? What is different this time?
What is different is that we had what you might even have called a midterm election that wasn't. The NSAS protests, you know, when people were protesting against police brutality, the government's own poor response to it, because nothing came out of it as well, but those same youths just found out the powers that they have, the powers to mobilize themselves, the powers to make a decision on certain issues. I think they will take that to the elections. For some people, it could have been a year or two away, but the youth are still thinking that way, that we on the streets, we brought ourselves to this point, we must find an anchor for it, otherwise it will be wasted. And since then, there hasn't been much change in line with the issues that brought up that protest. So I think this election is where the youth will do that final protest peacefully by casting their votes where they think they will get results.
Has the Electoral Commission really done enough to win the confidence of prospective Nigerian voters that the elections will be transparent and credible and will be accepting? That could perhaps leave no stone turned to ensure the transparency of these elections.
I don't think the Electoral Commission can do enough. People call them the referee, but most referees are in charge of two teams.
Right.
In this election, we have 18 presidential candidates. So you could find out how the man will be drawn all the way. That is one. Secondly, we also tend to look at the Electoral Commission in isolation. There are issues of security. The Electoral Commission doesn't manage that. There are the issues of various illegal ways political parties will want to win elections. The Electoral Commission don't manage that. So some of the blames that are thrown around are within the issue from poor management of the parties and then the security issues. People want to... The principles are thrown away in the process of trying to win elections. So those are the things that I reflect. Whereas the Electoral Commission should be managing the ballot boxes and the voting and ensuring there is transparency, Then when it comes to those intervening issues, security, even logistics, they can hardly manage it. If there is no fuel, for example, how do you get your vehicles? How do you get your aircrafts? When they land, they still need to move by land. And then the issue of security comes up again. So they can't be entirely blamed for that. But unfortunately, no distinctions are made about these things.